part of the thyroids and certainly most of the heart. The thymus gland is right here. Now you want to write down anything I say if I mention a structure or a function. However, when you read the endocrine system that the notes that I gave you, not the book, you've already done that. The notes should be easy. It'll have this in there too. Here's the thymus. Okay. All of these glands are made of glandular epithelium, so that's pretty simple. The thymus gland sets up the immune system. Okay. Sets up the immune system. It produces what are called T cells. T cells. And once that's set up, we don't need it anymore. Underneath the chin and the throat area here, one's been opened and one not. What color is this? Green. Okay. This is to show the thyroid gland. They opened one, and if you look down into it, you can see two dots. Those are the parathyroids. I showed you the parathyroid on the model the other day. Very, very small and easy to overlook if you're removing part of the thyroid. The thyroid gland, from your reading, and you already have this in your outline, and you'll reread it this weekend. The thyroid gland will produce thyroxine, and it also produces calcitonin. Thyroxine is a general growth hormone. Most hormones are quite specific. This is not as specific, thyroxine. And it's also called thyroid hormone, in case you read it that way. The calcitonin is responsible for the balance of calcium and phosphorus in the deposition of bone. The parathyroids, which secrete parathyroid hormone, they have that hormone has the function of countering calcitonin to keep calcium and phosphorus in balance. If one's overdoing it or underdoing it, you're going to end up with brittle bones or bones that don't quite form, or I don't know what other abnormalities you could have. Okay. So that takes care of these here. Now, as I revolve this, just quickly look inside, you'll see yellow on front and back. Brilliant yellow. Can't miss the yellow. On the back side, the yellow is the only part that's important. The kidney is below it. Okay? The yellow is to represent the adrenal glands. Suprarenal is what we call them in the cat, but in humans they're usually just called adrenal gland. Adrenal gland produces epinephrine or norepinephrine. In the medulla, in the cortex, it produces corticoids, and those would be necessary for the relief of pain, for instance, cortisone, and well, we'll save the rest of that for the lecture next week. There's too much if we get started. On this model, way in the back, this thing that really needs painting is the spleen, and it's really not a part of the endocrine system. It's part of the lymphatic system. So I just pointed it out to you so you know where it is. They also, on this one tube here, which is, what color is that, green again? Yeah. The green portion, they are showing you part of the small intestine. There's people who will argue for days and days that the small intestine is an endocrine gland because it secretes messengers to the rest of the body. Almost every part of the body probably secretes messages, feedback, to the rest of the body. Okay. One part we haven't mentioned yet is that in the sympathetic and parasympathetic system, there's feedback. It goes back to the brain. I'll mention that on Monday, not to leave it out. Well, the books don't buy it completely. I don't buy it at all. Okay, and not to be wrong, but it's not proven yet. So we're not going to put the small intestine down as an endocrine gland. Okay? But right next to it is the pancreas. The pancreas here is this, to me, bubblegum color. Pink, is it? Mm-hmm. See that? That's the pancreas. The pancreas, you know, already secretes two primary hormones, glucagon and insulin, and we'll talk about those as well. So you need to be able to identify the structures, but just as for the lecture test, you need to know what hormones might be produced and what functions they might have. And that's what I asked you to read again on Monday, even though you've read it already once. Okay. The testes. The yellow part is not the testes. Below, I don't know what color it is. Pink again, testes. The testes are an endocrine gland, but they're also a reproductive organ. So they're part of two systems, endocrine system and the reproductive system. As an endocrine gland, the testes produce testosterone. The yellow structure is the epididymis, which shows much better on the other models that I'm going to show you in a moment. So hang on for the epididymis. Inside of the brain, can't even see them. There's a spot right here, another one back here. This one right here is the pituitary gland. Okay, I'll give you all the functions of the pituitary gland next week in the lecture. We have 2 days to talk about that. We don't need one. If you go back to the back of the corpus callosum, same place as in the cat, there's the pineal body. Secretes melatonin for sleep regulation. I hate this model. You know, I would have been a terrible parent. And that's okay, because I knew it, and I didn't become a parent, you know? And there's a lot of terrible parents out there who didn't know it or didn't care. You know, my father was one of those. Oh, man, I hate that man. He's been dead for I don't know how long now, and I still hate him. I hate him. I hate him. Oh, you would too if you knew all the things I had to do for him. It wasn't like exactly slavery, but when the boxer dog needed its tail cropped, he gave me a steak knife and a hammer and said, "Cut it off." You know, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't from the farm.
How old were you?
Huh?
How old were you?
I think I was about 10.
You
know, that wasn't too cool. My sister and I. My sister was a year younger at 4, and I was 5. They gave us each a knife. Pretty damn good knife. The only reason we could ever take it out, though, and use it was to cut a bamboo switch every Saturday morning to bring to him so he could switch us on our legs and our back. And also any other time we did anything wrong. If we didn't do anything wrong, we still got switched every week, just for general principle, you know. Guy's a nutcase, real nutcase. Oh well, I vent a little bit, I'm sorry. So I don't like kids. It's not I don't like them, I feel sorry for them. They got to go through all this stuff that you did too. Oh yeah, well maybe you're in a good spot right now, but it's not every kid that gets in a good spot, that's for sure. Okay, let's put that over there.